Thank God. Thank goodness you've arrived, because you now have a chance to say something, and then we've got questions. So we've got questions. We need you, so
we do.
Give the floor to Beth.
I'll give me brief, not least because as I was coming to the door, Tarka said, "Mate, have you seen the size of the buffet?" I think he'll be making a dash for that door. Thank you all for coming along. There isn't. I'm going to sit down. I've been on my feet.
Good man. Yes. Yes.
Wow. Thank you for coming. There's not much about this expedition that hasn't been overwhelming, and today, this afternoon, is no exception. I'm sure most of you by now have had at least a vague idea of what Tarka and I have been up to since October, but I'm going to try and sum up as best I can in a few minutes and a few words. You'll forgive me for sort of flicking my eyes out my screen. We are both pretty spaced out at the moment, so I typed up some notes on the flight on the way here. Captain Robert Falcon Scott's name is intrinsically, inextricably linked with Antarctica, and his story of attempting to be the first to reach the South Pole is one that many would argue is interwoven with the very fabric of what it means to be British. More than a century after his passing, Scott of the Antarctic is still a household name in Britain at least, and his death that he wrote about so poignantly and courageously in his own diary is perhaps what he became most famous for. A part of Scott's story that far fewer are aware of it is that the journey he died trying to complete, a round trip of nearly 1,800 miles on foot from Ross Island at the very edge of Antarctica to the South Pole and back again, has never been completed. Had never. Scott and his final two companions, Wilson and Bowers, died 11 miles from their largest depot of food and fuel and little more than 100 miles from finishing their epic journey. In the century since Scott's death, no one came close to finishing this journey. In fact, no one had even attempted it. It remained perhaps the high watermark of human endeavour in the toughest climate on Earth, and the story of this unfinished journey, one of the most audacious, ambitious of the Edwardian golden age of exploration, is one that has gripped me for the best part of my adult life. How come, I've been thinking for a while now, given everything we've learned, everything we've developed, everything we've figured out, from scurvy to solar panels, how come this journey hasn't been finished yet? 10 days ago, my teammate Tarka and I stepped ashore on Ross Island. You saw a bit, I think, at the very end of the video, from the sea ice onto the rock of the land, at exactly the point at which Scott would have finished his journey in 1912. In the 105 days that preceded that, we dragged two sledges for 1,795 miles, 2,890 kilometres on foot, following Captain Scott's exact route to the South Pole and back again. And we've become the first people in history to finish Scott's last expedition. In doing so, we've broken the record for the longest ever human-powered polar journey, the longest polar journey on foot, by nearly 400 miles. It was an expedition that took everything we had, and that pushed us both to our absolute limits as human beings, physically, mentally, emotionally. It was a journey and a challenge on such a scale that I think it's still sinking in for both of us. We're both feeling, we keep using the word numb, which is perhaps an unusual one, but it's an incredibly hard story to put into words. Physically, we're in pretty good shape. We've been stuffing our faces for a few days now. I've had 4 breakfasts today already. So we don't look so bad. I've got a few fading scars on my cheeks and my nose from sort of cold-related injuries, a bit of frostnip, but nothing major. But we are both extraordinarily fatigued. I think if you'd seen us struggling up some stairs at Madrid Airport earlier today for a connecting flight, you certainly wouldn't have clocked us as two pioneering endurance athletes. In Antarctica, we covered the equivalent of 69 marathons back to back. We ate 6,000 calories per day, and we slept for an average of 4.5 hours per night for 105 days. Tarka lost 25 kilos during the expedition. I lost 20, which is 44 pounds, a bit more than roughly 3 stone each in old money. The sledges we dragged, you can see in the one there we go, were a bit fuller than that. And they were roughly 205 kilos each at the start, 450 pounds. which I think is just over 32 stone. It's very roughly the same as the weight, the loads dragged by Captain Scott's weakest ponies. We climbed and descended again one of the world's largest and most dangerous glaciers, the Beardmore. It's 110 miles long. We spent more than a month on the high Antarctic plateau to and from the pole, above 2,800 metres, where the average wind chill for 4 weeks was close to minus 35 degrees centigrade. And of course we were camping the whole time. This was a journey, as Tarka and I found out the hard way, that was at the very limits of what is humanly possible. But it was also a project that pushed boundaries logistically and technologically. It's taken more than a decade of work, of planning, training, preparing, and we wouldn't be here at all today if it wasn't for the enormous support we've had from Land Rover and from Intel. I've worked with Land Rover, a company with a genuine spirit of adventure since 2008. They're a company that is synonymous with exploration and endeavour, and they've played an integral and an invaluable part, not only in the expedition itself, but in supporting the years of training and preparation that have gone into it. Intel have given us the technology and the ability to share this story in real time in a way that has never been possible before. Using an Intel-powered Ultrabook, in fact the very same one I've got here, and with the help of a bespoke satellite transmitter, this weird-looking dish thing here that was in the back of Tarka's sledge, thanks Tarka. Built with the help of Intel's engineers, we sent back 105 daily updates from Antarctica, 105 blog posts, in fact there are a few more because we talked about the flight and all that coming. That included high-resolution images and high-definition video live from the ice, both of which are world firsts. The level of interaction we've had with an audience around the world, and the knowledge that people were drawing inspiration from our story for their own journeys, their own challenges, was something that genuinely kept us going through some of the darker and tougher days. Perhaps one of the biggest challenges now is telling the story, and the fact that no one else really can quite appreciate, I think apart from each other, what we went through. No one has ever travelled this far on foot in the conditions we faced, and while we weren't exploring in the old-fashioned geographical sense, we were definitely breaking new ground as far as human limits go. I'm more grateful than I can say to the man that accompanied me on this mouth journey, Tarka L'Herpiniere. He's been the perfect teammate and companion, and we faced extraordinary struggle and hardship together. As a result, we forged a bond. We were mates anyway, but we never once had a punch-up. Sadly, I can't give any sort of salacious gossip. We got on extraordinarily well, and I think as a result, we forged a bond that will stay with us for the rest of our lives. I want to sort of finish by thanking not only Land Rover and Intel, but the expedition supporting partners, KCOM, Drum Cossack, Bremont, CF Partners, Mountain Equipment, Hillyberg, Philnet and GlaxoSmithKline, and also by saying a heartfelt thank you to the incredible people that have supported us for many, many years, to the incredible team, my incredible team here in London, who worked tirelessly for a very long time indeed, and to our friends, our families, our loved ones. We couldn't have done this without you. I'm going to finish with one line that I put on the very last day's blog post when we crossed the finish line onto Ross Island, and I was trying to think of a way of summing up what I'd learnt from not only 105 days of extraordinary challenge. It was a really tough trip, but also from the decade or more that it's taken to get to even just the start line. And Tarka he lives in the Alps, was practically born with skis on his feet. He's about a foot taller than me. I'm an Englishman. The term good skier I don't think can ever be applied. There are a few anomalies in the Winter Olympics, but I don't have Tarka's style or grace or leg length. So Tarka would try and give me, even though I make a living from dragging sledges, Tarka would try and give me the occasional tips on how to improve my skiing technique. When the sledges were really heavy, I was fine. I'm like a sort of shy horse, but when they got lighter and lighter, and we travelled faster and faster, and we did many, many days where we cover between 38 and 42 kilometres a day. So we were averaging just under a marathon a day, pulling sledges. So skiing efficiency became more important, and Tarka's tips were pretty handy times. And my favourite one was this, and I think it applies to a lot more than just skiing technique. One day he said, with each step, try to reach a bit further forward than you think you can. I'm going to finish on that note and just see if anyone has any questions.
Thanks very much, Ben. As Ben rightly says, it's time for questions, and